Hey guys, it's FNGR, and today for no good reason, here's my top 10 best episodes of Season 4. That's not really true.
Oh, you're running out the clock to Season 6, aren't you?
That's true, no doubt. There are some projects I'm waiting on art for.
Now, does that mean that we're naked and tops on and off, or do you want us to be in our bikinis?
I think they should start on.
In fact, there are 3 projects that require artists that I'm currently working on. One being Analysis Daily, which the voting will be closed the 10th of February 2016, and will likely be over by the time this video is out. If you're waiting on that, remain patient. I've overextended myself and my artists. But besides me being mind-numbingly reckless and irresponsible, there's a bigger reason to do this. I started MLP analysis in Season 4, and if you look back, I really sucked.
Like a lot.
Thank you!
Like a lot as in the opposite of little. You are stretching out this motherfucker.
Ahem. The point I'm trying to get across here is Season 4 is a very special time for me and many bronies. It was the start for some and the end for others. And I think that's going to be in every season straight up to the end. An end that no longer seems light years away. With the show originally being renewed up to 9 seasons, I feel a little melancholy now. But enough about being a downer. Let's talk about what made this show great. And see what stood the test of time. And also, I need to remind people after my top 10 worst episodes of Season 5, I don't hate smiling. Number 10, Daring Don't. I rather like the fact that the writers right off the bat took a swing at the pushy fanbase, and used Rainbow Dash to tell us all to chill the fuck out. It's naturally no surprise the fans got annoyed about being called cringy, demanding, pushy, but ultimately harmless. This was party poop done right. Dave Polsky had gone on the offensive with fans this season, and really took some bold steps in distinguishing himself as the Season 4's best writer. And this was the opening salvo. It's not without fault, and barring maybe Twilight, the rest of Rainbow's friends didn't really need to be there, but I hardly found that to be a deal breaker. Besides all that, it's not the last time the main characters ended up becoming background characters on the show. Number 9, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, when I began this, I had no idea how it was gonna pan out in my head. Pinkie Pride.
Boo!
Jesus, the hell's that about? I know a lot of people have this episode as number 1, and don't get me wrong, I love it. I'm amazed it turned out so well. This is gonna sound really stupid, but Pinkie Pride feels like it's cheating to me. Calm down. I'm not saying it's not fun or memorable. It's that we can't hold up future episodes to something with Weird Al. It's a special magical moment, but the fact it was so remarkable is kinda in its own category, because while MLP can do many things, it can't get Weird Al on tap. Here's hoping, nonetheless, that we do see him again in Season 6. Number 8, Power Ponies. Now I know some fans and critics and analysts hate this episode. Yeah, the Maniac was a dud, but this is the second most enjoyable episode in the season for Rarity. Rarity's creativity is literally turned into a superpower. I think a lot of people focused on Spike in this episode and missed out on a lot of fun. Pinkie's role as a supercharged speedster is not only an homage to Flash, but canon-wise I'd like to remind the audience that Pinkie is outrun Dash. And it's an excellent continuity nod. The part of the episode that really made me chuckle the most was how Twilight, the pony everyone predicted was going to be the Mary Sue for Season 4, ended up being utterly useless. I like to think that the writing staff did this on purpose. Truth be told, Twilight never did anything in this episode besides fail. I think everyone was too busy feeling bad for Spike to take note of that. I'm a little bummed out we didn't see more of the magical books in Season 5. It's an easy hook for the staff to pull in the main 6 into a new setting, and while some might find it cliche, I found it refreshing from some of the same old slice of life episodes. Number 7, Flight to the Finish.
Boo!
Jesus, you people are rough. Scootaloo is my least favorite CMC. That said, this is hands down the best Rainbow Dash episode on the show, besides maybe Sonic Rainboom. Rainbow Dash is oozing the element of loyalty here and sets the CMC straight for abandoning their friend. Something Season 5 all but forgot about using Rainbow Dash for. Rainbow Dash throughout Season 4 not only grows and learns, but teaches those around her. Let's not forget the fact that Diamond Hero is at her devilish best in this episode. Number 6, Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, your microphone is working.
The first collab I ever had with a riff guy. Let us never speak of that again. Legitimately funny. The ability to squeeze in all the main characters. Twilight as a teacher. Rarity's creativity is used in a historical setting. Applejack proves she's the worst pony again.
No rapping, no cards, no costumes, no play, and no apples!
It's all a win! In fact, I'm pretty sure this could be anywhere from 7 to 1. If you've ever had any anxiety about testing or waiting to the last minute, you'll find Rainbow Dash beyond identifiable. The downside? Rainbow Dash ends up passing the test with flying colors, and I feel the message is slightly skewed here. I think she shouldn't have been rewarded for being so irresponsible, but it's still everything that makes MLP great. Not to mention the Pinkie rap literally gave birth to the longest running argument in Brony history between Phantom Horn and Jazz Scorcher. It's part of analysis history, and it will always have a soft spot in my heart. Number 5, Twilight Time. I want you to pay attention. Dave Polsky, when he was batting 1000, put out this polished gem and could literally do nothing wrong in Season 4. Think about this for a moment. Twilight, the Alicorn Princess, teaching the CMC. I'm a diehard Twilight fan and a diehard CMC fan. This premise is perfect. It's not just perfect, it's reusable. Shirley doesn't really inspire anything other than poorly made grimdark fiction. Go look up Shirley's Garden. The show staff found time to show people that people did notice Twilight in her new role. And this is just a theory, but the children fangasming over Twilight, I felt that was a playful dip at the fans. That's right, you guys all missed that. All those little kids obsessed over Alicorn Twilight. I've no doubt in my head that old Dave was having a chuckle at our expense. And you know what? I can take the dig. It wasn't just that, but Dave Polsky 4 episodes later came back to Sweetie Belle's scheming side. He foreshadowed it here. Can you imagine that this list is only about halfway done? Number 4, Leap of Faith.
What the fuck?
You heard me. I said motherfucking leap of faith. And there are those nameless few who felt Flim and Flam were flanderized into being evil or stupid. Let me back you up on that, sport. The idea that businessmen are stupid and or evil, I look no further than the Fine Brothers. Most decisions made by Konami today. Most of the decisions made by Hasbro. Can I assume most bronies will know what I'm talking about? But if we really need an example, we can remind everyone of the mature, business-like fashion Hasbro handled Jan animations after dicking them around for a year plus. You can literally make believe Granny Smith is a stand-in for the fan base in this episode. And Flim and Flam are Hasbro. I guess that would make Applejack Josh Haber. Remember what I said about being worse pony? It all makes sense when you all add it up. The lesson is credibility and trust is more than a match for a good hustle, but it requires those who know the truth to speak up even when it's not easy to do. Don't look at me, I've never touched the stuff in my life. Still, great episode. Number 3, Imagination Manifestation. I wanted to see a batshit insane evil rarity since I started this show, and Megan McCarthy, you didn't let me down. Forget the metaphors for drug use. I was ecstatic to see the tropes of evil approaching someone at a weak moment and taking them over. This is Dark Magic 101, and we can only hope to see a story like this behind Sombri or Chrysilius someday, or hell, an even complete explanation on the show about Nightmare Moon. Knowing this book was sitting around in Luna's old castle, I felt like this was so much more that needed to be said, and regretfully, they forgot all about this place in Season 5. Oh, and I'm told Spike is somewhere in this episode. I can't be bothered to remember. Number 2, Pinkie Apple Pie. I loved the hell out of this episode. I had to surrender to the number 1 spot, but let's not forget what made this great. Pinkie barges in on one of the Appuls family, insisting she's family. Pinkie could have easily have been uncomfortable, unpleasant. This could have been What About Discord 1.0, with Pinkie driving the Apple family nuts, especially with the brand new writer. Natasha Levenger nailed Pinkie perfectly on her first outing, and I'd be hard-pressed to find an episode where the Appuls were more fun to watch. A fun trip with a slow disintegration of the Apple family's goodwill was about a fine episode as any other. Moreover, I hated the animatic, and the expectations I had was something deeply uncomfortable, such as Pinkie hornshoeing herself into something she didn't belong in. Instead, you had an episode that was all about Pinkie finding acceptance, with a group that felt like a great family, much like any others, still being deeply flawed. Pinkie Apple Pie is the zenith of MLP FIm. Number 1, For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils. So you might be asking, why is this here? The CMC are supporting characters who occasionally get the spotlight. Luna is a supporting character that the show is struggling to give a role to. It naturally would almost feel like a no-brainer to build these characters off of one another. This was Dave Polsky's best work in Season 4, especially when you consider what a dud Apple Bloom's Luna episode was in Season 5. The time spent in the dream realm is a visual delight, and I can look back on the scenes with a sense of nostalgia as opposed to regret. Everything worked in this episode, and it ended with a promise of potentially more. Luna having bigger plans for the CMC, and then, well, let's just focus on Season 4. There was so much promise. Things building off of one another. Looking back, at least at this moment, right here, I think Season 4 might damn well have been the best thing MLP ever did. And if you don't believe that, if this video gets 100 upvotes, I'll do the top 10 worst episodes of Season 4. And we'll find out together if that's even remotely true. So till next time, don't ask why a field burns or a plague spreads, all for no good reason.